Hi, welcome to our Author Live series here on Amazon Live. I'm Sarah Gelman, Editorial Director for Books at Amazon. Today we're joined by multifaceted actress, recording artist, author, entrepreneur, and mother, Hilary Duff. You may know her from her hit TV show Younger, which is my favorite, or you might love listening to her albums. This busy mom of three is here today to talk about her brand new book. It's called My Little Brave Girl, and it was just released on March 23rd. Hilary, welcome to Amazon Live.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. It's really exciting.
We're excited to have you. And just reminding everyone that's watching that we are live right now. If you want to ask Hillary a question, just type it into the chat below. And while you're watching, you can also shop her brand new book. It's behind me and also on my lap. My Little Brave Girl. It is a beautiful book. You're going to learn more about it. And I keep thinking about, I have two little boys, but I keep thinking about moms sitting in bed with their kids on Mother's Day looking at this book together. And then the girls will probably like craft, and my boys will want to shove their bottoms in my face. So to all you moms of boys, I'm jealous, or girls. So I want to start with the dedication, which is at the end of the book, because I always love dedications, and this just really touched me. You wrote, "For Luca, who taught me all of the unimaginable love that a mother gets to have, and for Banks, who inspired this book, the cliche of not being able to love another child as much as the first felt so real, and you completely proved me wrong." Can you talk a little bit about your inspiration for this book?
Sure. Oh my gosh, I'm hormonal because I just had my third baby. I'm like, you got
I
me already. I think I wrote that, but it meant so much to me. Yeah, you know what? I had Luca when 9 years ago now, and it's so wild that I've been a mom for 9 years. But everything about that is true. You know, he taught me all about this journey, and I was really nervous to have a daughter and have a second child. And then obviously, just like I said, it's all consuming. You're like, oh, yeah, of course. Of course, I have enough space to love you too. And you're a completely different child and bring completely different things to our world. That all happened, thank goodness for me. But when I went back to work that I got inspired to write this book, and it really didn't start off like I'm going to write a child's book. It was after a long night at work and being away from my daughter for 16 hours when she had been a pretty tough baby colic, and you know we had a little bit of a rocky start with her. She just had a need to scream, and I remember being like, this will pass, this will pass, this will pass, this is temporary. And then she got into a really good rhythm, and then I went back to work. So it was a tough time emotionally for me, and then I'm sure for her. And that's where I kind of started obviously feeling bad for myself, like I miss my kid, I'm missing out, someone else is doing the things I should be doing. And then I'm like, well, you're the one having to be brave, you're this big, and you only really know my smells. And now I'm gone all day. And then it kind of sent me into a tailspin of all the times that she's going to have to be brave, and all the times I'm going to sit back and in awe of her and watch her do scary things, amazing things, hard things, crazy things, all the things, I guess.
Yeah, it's amazing as a parent. I mean, just what you were saying, like your capacity to love expands beyond anything you ever thought was inside of you. And then, you have more kids and it's like amazing, there's more room.
I
And
know.
I always thought it was this
Communication.
we have this great maternity leave policy at Amazon that we get about 5 months, 6 months off. And I always felt like it was sort of cruel irony that we went back, like, just as the baby is like smiling and kind of fun and like not in that just like big sack
Blob.
phase. But yeah, it's so hard to, under to have them understand, why does mommy go away every day? Or now it's, why is mommy on really important calls? So I feel like mothers feel that for sure and have to put on their own brave face.
Yeah, I know. It's really wild. The guilt, but also just it's painful to miss out. And obviously everyone wants a break, away from their kids. So I feel for the parent that stays at home too and makes that choice. That's extra hard as well. It's just all of it is it's a wild experience. And just like you said, you want to put on a brave face for child, but really it's so hard for you because you're the one that's like in touch with your emotions and aware, and they're not going to remember, especially at that really young age. So um it's I think just parenthood all around is, I always explain it. I'm like, "Oh, it's the best, hardest thing ever." It's
Yeah.
it's the most lovely and the most terrible all at the same time. Like, it's just this crazy collision of like, hardest and best all the time.
And like when something hurts your kid, I always feel like I'm not strong enough for this, but you are. And
Yeah,
you bring it out for them too. It really is. It's like this animal instinct. It's amazing.
totally, totally. Yeah.
Now, you have written three young adult books before, and this is your first foray into children's books. How was it different than writing the young adult books?
Oh gosh. The young adults book seemed more like, my love of books, and at that time I was reading a lot of young adult kind of like fantasy, and I just got inspired and I was like, maybe I have a story to tell here. And so I had never really done um I had never written a script before, and I started like developing these characters, and then started outlining a story and kind of like this dreaming up this fake world, and it was really fun. And then I got kind of in deep and I was like, oh, I need someone to help me with this. This is a long this isn't just like, I'm used to shooting a movie, it lasts for 3 months and it's over and then I move to the next thing. So it was definitely important that I found someone that could help like tell my story with me. But it was a crazy process. Like, writers who write books, I don't know how they do it solo. Like, you get so in your head, you're like, "Oh, what was that? Wait, what was that? Like, I gotta tie up that loose end. We have to do like." It was just. I also, stopped going to school in the middle of 3rd grade, so I was like, "This is a huge learning curve." Like, but it was a big challenge, and I think I took it on as bravely as I could, and ended up writing 2 more. So that was really fun. I don't know if it was something I ever want to do again because it felt impossible to me. Also, I'm like, here, there, on to the next thing. I'm just used to moving really fast, and this wasn't fast at all. This took like a good year of my life, and well, more than that, probably like 2.5 years. But with Brave Girl, I wrote it rocking my daughter in bed at night, and um, it started off just in the notes of my phone. And I went in after I got her down and told my husband, I'm like, I think I wrote a children's book. And he's like, you what? I'm like, can I read this to you and you tell me if it sucks or not, or like you could see what I am seeing? And that's how it was born. So this was born just authentically from my heart, out of love for my daughter, and a very like personal experience, that I was going through, that I knew other parents would relate to.
Yeah, and that, in those early days when you have the baby, like I feel like that's like your truest emotions too really comes out. So I love that you
You're
wrote
just
it on
wide
your phone.
open.
Those are all
Yeah,
like
you're
my
just
best thoughts.
serious, mixed in with like the grocery lists and the other
Yes.
to dos.
And like when you wash your hair too, it's like something about like the scrubbing, it just gets all the thoughts going. I don't know.
Since I just had, this is a little off topic, but since I just had a baby, I totally forgot the inherent like rocking that you just constantly do, even when you're not holding the baby. And I was taking a shower the other day and I was just like bouncing. And I was like, I'm not holding the baby. I don't need to be doing this right now. It's just like one of those really natural things that happens. But yeah, notes of the phone is like the most genius invention for the mom with the scatterbrain.
Yeah, that's definitely very important. Now, you are going to read an excerpt from your book for us. So, would you mind reading a passage, please?
I would love to. I would love to. So one of the things that was really important to me was just including like earth elements and the little girls being outside and really showing the sense of adventure. I grew up in Texas in just wide open space. So you definitely feel the sense of like nature when you read the book. So I chose some outdoorsy pages. And this is, it starts off, let me get rid of the leaf, sorry. The world is big, my little brave girl. It's all here for you. Love is vast, my little brave girl, and yours is endless. The sun burns bright, my little brave girl, and you will find the light. The stars are high, and you can reach them.
I love that. Thank you for reading that section. I was going to ask you a little later, but just because you showed the beautiful illustrations, I have to ask about your work with the illustrator. So it's Kelsey Garrity Riley, and these are such pretty illustrations. I feel like I want them framed and on my little boy's wall. So, how did you decide to go this direction? How did you find the illustrator? Tell us everything about that.
So it was really important to me that the illustrator was a mother. And Kelsey's work is just absolutely beautiful. When obviously I had help with my publishers narrowing it down and finding some amazing, talented illustrators out there, and her work just really like spoke to me. Her use of colors were vibrant and soft at the same time. Um, Everything had this sense of wonder and movement to it. It feels like almost on every page, like you can feel like a little gust of wind or some sort of kind and happy spirit going along the pages with you, and it had a classic feel to it, but current. So I'm saying a lot of things that are opposites, but that's what I feel when I see it. Like the colors just they pop off the page, but not in a intrusive way. And um, I loved all the little critters and the characters that are, uh, you know, peppered through the book on certain pages, and we did these really beautiful vignettes. And the girls were just like adorable. By the way, I want to like wear all of the things the girls wear in this book. The clothes are so cute on them. Their little like rain jackets and pea coats. It's just so cute. And yeah, we had many emails back and forth and phone calls, and she was very collaborative with me. Where there was certain pages where I had a very strong vision of what I wanted, and the other pages where I just let her go and do her thing. And that was such a lovely way to collaborate on the book. One of my favorite pages, I did read it, but I will show it to you. It's the book where she's finding the light.
Oh, I love that
Uh,
one too. In the forest.
it's just so sweet, and it kind of
Yes.
speaks to like an older girl, um, a different meaning of like, there's going to be times in your life where everything isn't happy and great, and maybe you do feel scared, but it's up to you. And like I have faith to believe that you will find the light, and there's this like big bright light streaming through, and she's like peeking around and she's about to find it. And I really this page means like a lot to me.
Yeah, there are so many levels to finding your own light. And I also feel like that moment, like when you actually see literally the sunlight captured, in dust particles in the forest that way, it's like I always think to myself, I wish I could take a picture of this or, draw it or something. It's like that beautiful moment that you just have to kind of savor and know that it's in your memory. So I feel like
Yeah,
it was really beautifully captured there.
thank you. Thanks.
And it's funny, we actually have an Amazon customer that had asked, her name is Robin, and she had asked what your favorite page of the book was. So you answered her question without her even asking it. I'm sure she appreciates that.
I'm glad we did that backwards, because if she had have asked me what my favorite page of the book was, I would like, oh, but I love this and this one. I love this and this one. But yeah, I think that is my favorite page, just because as an adult, it speaks to me as well.
We have some more customer questions. Amazon customer Derek asks, what age do you think the book would be most impactful for?
You know what? I read the book obviously to Banks now, but she's still young for it. She's 2.5, and she still likes to rip pages and chew on corners. But I think honestly, there's no even with your baby, when you're just needing a moment to cuddle. And I really think this book speaks to the parent as well and what they're going through. So it will become like a ritual and just one of those books that you throw in rotation because it means so much to the parent as well. But oh, I'm so sorry. It's time to feed my baby. Um, but I would say that probably four, probably three and a half, four, all the way till 12 or 13 and beyond. I mean, I have one of my dearest family friends was like, she's sending her daughter off to college, and she is sending her off with this, which is so sweet. Like, I think that
I could definitely see that.
people always hold space in their heart for nostalgia, and books really make that impact with people. And I know that some of the books that I grew up with, when I'm feeling sad, like, or I'm wanting to have a sweet moment with Luca, I always want to read something that was important to me growing up. And I think that's what's so magical about books. So it's hard to put an age range on it, really.
Yeah, I feel like it's the great thing about children's books is they can speak to you at so many different points in your life, whether you're
Mhm.
a 3-year-old or a 40 something. But that's me, not you. Uh,
I'm getting
so
close.
I feel like this is a great off to college book for girls or anyone. You actually sort of teed up one of my questions, which is what were your favorite books growing up? What books meant the most to you?
So I was a big Shel Silverstein fan. Loved the poems, and I think I could probably still recite some of them by memory. Where the Sidewalk Ends was one of my favorites. The Giving Tree, which I'm now reading to my daughter. Um, Really trying to drive home that, like, we share kind of thing. But that's always a work in progress. And then, like, chapter books and stuff, I loved Judy Bloom, and I loved Babysitter's Club, and I loved spooky things, like I loved Goosebumps. And then I think that still my all-time favorite book is The Diary of Anne Frank, and that was one of the most impactful books I read, like, at a time that really mattered, when I was, like, really getting into books that were, more serious.
And what sort of books do you read to your kids besides the ones that you mentioned that were some of your favorites growing up? And I totally agree on The Giving Tree. It's also really
Yeah,
sad.
it's so sad.
I
Like,
mean, that's a Mother's Day book, right? The tree just like gave and gave until there was nothing left but a stump. And then she gave some more.
she found a way to keep giving. Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, the story of of a mother for sure.
Seriously.
Um, so I pulled a few of the books out that we are loving right now, and
Oh, awesome.
this lost its cover, but this is The Color Monster. Have you seen this one?
Yes, we have that. All about feelings. Yes.
All about feelings, and
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know, it's just really creative, really cute. I love the illustrations in that one too. This is a classic around here, Dream Animals, and I'm a huge fan of Emily Winfield Martin. Her stuff is beautiful.
Yes, she
Also,
is
illustrations that I want to
beautiful.
have. Yeah,
Yes. I love her illustrations.
and me too. Brown Bear, such a classic. We also do
Classic.
Polar Bear, and then Dear Girl. We love Dear Girl.
Love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know, Llama Llama just speaks to my kids. There's something about it. They just think, do your kids like
Yeah,
that too?
we're big into Llama Llama.
I feel
Um,
like it's like certain movies, there's like some sort of chemistry that, like, I don't know, speaks to kids' brains and they just, I don't know, like the songs from Frozen. It just gonna just connects.
I
And
know,
that is
I
Llama
know.
Llama.
We're on a heavy Moana rotation right now, and as
Oh,
good as it is, I'm like, "And we're done, and please be the last time today." And it never is.
oh.
Um,
Sometimes I just
also,
listen to Moana when I need to pick me up. That music's very
did
inspiring.
totally. Did you guys read the Stinky Face books?
No, we haven't read
Oh,
those.
They're really cute, and since you have boys, you might love them because it's about a little boy who's procrastinating and trying to escape bedtime, and
Oh,
the
sounds like
mom
my
is
life.
yeah, exactly, and the mom has the most creative ways of evading, the child's many ploys to escape bedtime. It's very cute. It's called I Love You, Stinky Face.
Okay, I'll check it out. I'll buy it on
Mm.
Amazon later today.
Yep.
There's still, I feel like that's like one of the great things about kids' books is like there's always, I mean, my life is steeped in books and has been for a long time, but like there are so many kids' books to discover and I don't know, and own because they're so beautiful too.
And again,
Now,
it's just those
go
moments
ahead.
that you're like, "Oh, with my first, I remember this was like every single night. We read this every single night." And then you have another one and you're like, "It's just so familiar and it feels so good." And then you do it with your second and your third or what whoever, your niece or your nephew, and it's just sometimes my friends come over and will like read the books and they'll do different inflections than me. And so the book takes on like a whole new character or meaning, and it's a good feeling to have books that live on with all your kids.
Yeah. I memorized two children's books when my first was really young because I would read them in the dark before bedtime, but really I was just reciting them and pretending like I was turning the pages. You never knew. Now, back to your book. This book really encourages little girls to be brave and brave about a lot of different things. Was there someone in your life that really encouraged you to do that and take the chances that you wanted to take?
That's a great question. um I mean, I think I got to give credit to my mom for being a little like 5'2" powerhouse woman from Texas who like took her kids to LA and listened to them, that we really had desires to kind of tackle this business and try to be actors, and wherever our dreams led us, she was always there to support it. And there was a lot of like times where I remember feeling scared and her encouraging us that like the worst thing could happen is like you don't get the job, or they don't like you, so what, we move on to the next thing. Like it's a definitely a hard job to be an actor as a child and go on auditions and be constantly told no, or uh, be told things like, no, they just don't like your look, or, whatever it may be. Like those are kind of some hard blows to take. And I remember her constantly being like, this doesn't mean anything. Like, this is all fun. This is fun. And when it's not fun, we don't do it anymore. But she would always encourage us to, work hard and be bold, which to me equals being brave. And so definitely felt supported, by her to make choices that help me get to where I am or fulfill my dreams, whether them be personal um, or professional.
She sounds like a great mom. Those are all
She
things
is.
that I'm gonna like store away and save for my kids. Going back to an Amazon customer question, Amazon customer Joshua asked, "Do you sing your songs to your kids, especially during story time?"
I do. There's a song from, I forget which record, to be honest, because they're so long ago. I sing a song to Banks, called "Fly" a lot. It was one of my favorite songs, and my husband and I did a cover of a Third Eye Blind song about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago now. We sing that quite often just because she likes that. And I sing a lot of his songs actually to her. Um, and yeah, what was the other part of that question?
Did you read them during story time? But I think any time is a perfect time to
Oh,
sing.
yeah. But most of the time I get shut down because, she likes Moana. So we sing a lot of that.
My 2.5-year-old always goes, "I hate that song." Like it doesn't matter what the song is, and I'm like, I'm not a recording artist, but I'm like, you don't like this song? It doesn't matter what it is, except Twinkle Twinkle. He will always love that song. 2-year-olds
Well,
are
you know what?
stickers.
I'm always surprised when my daughter lets me get away with like Twinkle Twinkle or Wheels on the Bus or Old MacDonald, because usually I sing those when I'm tired and I don't have like much to give. Yeah, yeah, 3 songs, okay, let's do it, and I just, like, knock those out, and she's totally fine with it. But most of the time I try to sing her, like, Carole King or, um, a Janis Joplin song that I love, I try to get a little bit of, like, the cool '70s vibes up in there for her, and she usually
Oh
goes with
yeah.
it, which is
Peter, Paul, and Mary. My
you
older son can sing all the words to Leaving on a Jet Plane, which I feel like it's a major parenting accomplishment.
yeah, you get a gold star for that.
Thank you. Another Amazon customer, Allie Rooney, asked, "What is some of the best advice you've ever received and advice that you might pass on to your kids?" And then she also said she's buying your book for her newborn, even though he's a boy. And that is A OK, Allie. It's for boys too.
Hey, I make Luca read it, and he actually loves it. And I think it's just as important to share girl things with boys, so we raise the boys right. That's a big topic in our house right now. Is just making the boys completely aware of all the girl things. Um, and thank you for buying the book. um, and again, I'm like, wait, what was the first question?
Best piece of advice you've ever received. You just had
Wow,
a
yeah.
baby. I feel like
Uh,
yes, I'm just impressed that like your hair's done and you're wearing a dress. So amen to that.
I know. Oh my God. Sometimes I'm like, okay, all the things that have to get done today, it all goes to mush. I black out. Some people are like talking to me. I'm like, I blacked out. Can you say that again? um, the best piece of advice, I really don't know. I don't know. I guess I can't pinpoint who exactly said it or what it was, but I think it took me getting into my 30s to remember to be really present. And that's not like with my kids per se, but just with everything that goes on in my life. Like I've gotten to do some really cool things and had really amazing, touching experiences along the way and accomplished a lot of goals. Met some really cool people that, have influenced me. And I think just with that, everything has moved so fast. I'm not, no, not too many of my days look exactly the same. And, I'm constantly off to go, be in this city or go here and do there. And it just all seems to move so fast that you forget to sit in it and be like, this is you, this is your life, you're here and now, and soak this in, because who knows, what it's going to be in a few years or whatever. Just, I think being present in the moment and holding on to the memories and letting it all wash over you every once in a while.
That's good advice. Now, I've been in publishing for over 20 years, so I totally geek out over Younger. I've been watching it since season one. I love it. You are amazing as Kelsey Peters. I totally believe that you work in publishing. Although I feel like I couldn't afford your wardrobe when you started. That's the one
Yeah.
thing. It's like, yeah, but either way,
But
it's
now,
amazing. So
I mean, oh, sorry. The fact that we
I was
like
just going to
wear
say,
Gucci,
how did you talk about
it's
your wardrobe,
crazy.
please? I want to hear more.
Well, I mean, our stylist Jackie is amazing, but yeah, she's constantly like shopping at the most expensive designers stores, and I'm like, Kelsey doesn't even have her own apartment. She lives in like Josh's apartment and shares a bed with Lauren. So, but they have epic handbags and stuff. I think that's just the beauty of TV. We don't ask those questions, right?
Yeah, and honestly, I didn't want to see you in like the no offense to H&M or anything like that, but like the H&M like pilled black
Uniform.
things that I used to wear. Yeah. That's real life. I don't need it. How did you learn about the publishing industry? I feel like you guys nail it in that show, whether you're talking about things like Publisher's Lunch or like little kind of inferences to the company I work for, Amazon. Like it's so well done. How did that happen?
Honestly, you have to tell me, because I don't even know half the time if the things that we're talking about are real. I'm like, I'm assuming
There's a
they
lot of
are.
real
I know
stuff.
there is, right? Because so many people
Yes.
tell us that. Like, a lot of people in publishing that I happen to have, contact with are like, you guys do a really good job of like having your finger on the tabs of like what's actually going on, or like kind of what a day in the life looks like, or how hard it is to nail down an author sometimes, or that it's very highly competitive. which I guess I assumed is just like any other kind of industry. But I don't know. Like, I guess it's just kudos to the writers for doing their research and knowing what they're talking about. Maybe they've got to have a publisher friend, don't
I
you
think they
think?
definitely do.
All
Yes.
the
I
time.
think
Yeah.
they 100% have a consultant because it is so true, except for the wardrobe thing again. But except for that, it is so spot on. And I just like, I mean, I obviously think publishing is so fascinating. And I love that this show has really kind of brought that to the world because I feel like too often it's seen as like publishing, but it's exciting. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Oh, well, Darren Star is an amazing showrunner, and he's always writing for women in such an amazing way. I'm so lucky that I got chosen to be on that show, and I got to go on that journey with Kelsey and the rest of the cast, who is absolutely like family. But we really got immersed in that office space, and a lot of stuff went down there, and you can tell that they write our characters. That we feel lucky that we get to be in a job that we love and that we eat up and that we're passionate about. And I think that is something to be said for people that are in publishing. They love books. They get to show up and do what they love every day. And that doesn't mean that it's not hard or it comes with things they don't like. But the world of books is so endless, and you can tell there's a lot of passion there.
You also just announced that you are, I guess, rebooting, spinning off How I Met Your Mother into How I Met Your Father, and you're going to play Sophie, I believe is the name of the character, who is the mother that
Yes.
meets the father. What can you tell us about that?
Not too much yet, but I'm really excited. I have seen so much excitement and so much support from people who love How I Met Your Mother, that I just am thrilled and so looking forward to telling the female story of this show, which is so creative and so funny the way it's done and really takes you on adventure. Everyone wants to know kind of how their parents met and what that was like. And it's crazy to think. I'm sure Luca looks at me and I tell him all the time. I'm like, I've been here before, right? Like, so I think you take that journey with our main girl Sophie, who is me, is going to be a lot of fun. Even though it's set in current day, the show starts in like 2045, where she's telling her son how she met his father. And it's just going to be a lot of adventure. I think we're starting to cast right now, and that's going to be a big part of it. Is like the chemistry there, and kind of the heroes of the show. It's really exciting. The show runners, the producers, and writers are just beyond um, talented, and I can't wait to get started.
I'm super excited about it. One last question before we let you go. How are you spending this Mother's Day? And slash, how would you like to be spending Mother's Day? Because sometimes I feel like they're not always the same.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny that you put it like that. My girlfriends just texted me and said that her and her sister are going to the Four Seasons and they rented a room and they're just going to be like laying on the rooftop without their children. And if I wanted to join, and I was like,
Uh,
that's really,
yes.
really but I'm not doing that. Actually, I'm going to be spending Mother's Day. We are going out to a restaurant, which is big news outside, and we're taking my mom, and they have like live music, and we're going to have like a 2 o'clock afternoon um, lunch, like late lunch, and we're bringing all of our children. So that'll be the first time we take all three kids to a restaurant, and we're just being really brave about it. We're like, we can handle this. We're gonna do this, and I hope I have some mimosas, um, and yeah, an early
I have a
bedtime.
good
Like
book for
really.
you to read too if
Oh,
you
what
need to
is
read
that?
about being brave.
Okay.
Did you like that?
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Totally. I
Read
think
this
that I think that
before.
my biggest dream for the day is just to be in bed by like 7 on the dot.
Oh,
Matt can handle
that
all
sounds
the times.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yes.
just
In
like
bed,
like,
like clean sheets and alone. Yes. Watching what you want to watch. The dirty secret of
yes,
Mother's Day is that we want to be alone.
I know.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. You have a lot going on, and And this book, My Little Brave Girl, is so beautiful and amazing. Thank you. People can shop it in the carousel on Amazon. And if you like our author live streams, you can click follow and you will get notifications when we have them coming up. Hilary, thank you again so much. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you, Sarah. Happy Mother's Day to you. That was a lot of fun, and I hope
Thank
everyone
you.
enjoys the book.
Thanks.